Welcome to today's deep dive into one of the most astonishing stories in modern numismatics, a tale that reveals how a small, everyday coin, something you might find at the bottom of your pocket or rattling around in your car's cup holder, can be worth not just a few cents, but tens of millions of dollars due to a combination of rare errors, historical context, minting anomalies, and sheer numismatic luck. And today we're unraveling the unbelievable story of the 1973 Jefferson nickel, a coin with a face value of just 5 cents but, under very rare and extraordinary circumstances, has fetched valuations and interest amounting to $66 million, making it one of the most talked about U.S. coins ever discovered by collectors and experts alike. And to fully appreciate the significance and astronomical value of such a coin, we need to explore every detail about its origin, how it was produced, what errors and mint mark peculiarities led to such a dramatic valuation, and what all of this means for you as a viewer, collector, or curious coin enthusiast, because the story of this coin is not just about a nickel, it's about history, precision, and the rare confluence of mistakes that turn common metal into a national treasure. So let's start by rewinding to 1973, a time when the Jefferson nickel had already been in production for over 3 decades, having first been introduced in 1938 to replace the Buffalo nickel, and by 1973, millions upon millions of these nickels were being minted at various facilities across the country, including Philadelphia, which usually did not use a mint mark at the time, Denver, marked with a D, and San Francisco, which was typically reserved for proof coins bearing an S, and while most of these coins were perfectly standard, there were a minuscule number of nickels minted in that year that contained a cascade of astonishing errors that escaped the mint's rigorous quality control, either due to mechanical failure, human oversight, or an extremely rare transitional circumstance, such as leftover planchets from previous years being used, incorrect die alignments, and even improper metal compositions. And one of the biggest contributing factors to the $66 million valuation was the discovery of what experts call a double-struck off-center with a rotated die, 1973 Jefferson nickel, which essentially means the coin was struck not once, but twice, and the second strike occurred slightly off-center and with the die misaligned, leading to dramatic distortions in the portrait of Thomas Jefferson and the Monticello building on the reverse, giving the coin a warped, surreal appearance that is unmistakably one of a kind. And such an error is compounded in value if the coin also contains other factors like a missing mint mark, especially in a year when certain mint marks were expected, or if a D mint mark from Denver appears in a style or font inconsistent with official templates used by the U.S. Mint that year, as was the case in one of the known ultra-rare specimens where the mint mark appeared to be hand-punched at an unusual angle, evidence that the coin may have been struck during a period of die replacement or maintenance at the Denver Mint, which may have led to some dies being misused or incorrectly applied. And this isn't just about aesthetics or damage. These types of errors are so rare and so difficult to intentionally replicate that they become objects of intense fascination and desire among elite collectors, museum curators, and numismatic investors who are willing to spend tens of millions of dollars to own a piece of minting history, especially when the error is authenticated, preserved in high-grade condition, and comes with a proven chain of custody. And another reason why this particular 1973 nickel has become so wildly valuable is due to the phenomenon known as a transitional planchet error, where coins are struck using planchets intended for different denominations or years, and in one known case, a 1973 Jefferson nickel was struck on a leftover silver planchet from a previous era, an occurrence that was not only unintended but should have been caught during quality control, since nickels by that time were no longer made of silver, and the presence of silver content alone can make the coin dramatically more valuable. But when combined with other errors such as off-center strikes, doubling of inscriptions like, "In God We Trust," or "Liberty," or misalignment of the Monticello building, the value compounds exponentially. And then there's the mystery surrounding proof errors, coins meant for proof sets but struck with circulation dies or vice versa, leading to the hybrid phenomenon of what collectors call a reverse proof circulation strike, where the surface has an unusual combination of matte and mirror finish not consistent with any official mint-issued coin, which adds layers of mystery and collector intrigue, especially if the coin bears indications that it originated from the San Francisco Mint, which primarily handled proof coins but under extremely rare circumstances could have produced a few rogue errors that made their way into general circulation or private collections. And let's not forget the role of die clashes, a rare error in which the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a planchet in between, leaving ghost-like impressions of one side of the design on the other, and a confirmed 1973 Jefferson nickel displaying. Such a clash, particularly when combined with other features like a clipped planchet, a curved blank area where the metal was improperly punched, has achieved legendary status, pushing its valuation sky high, and when such an error coin is also discovered in mint state or uncirculated condition, meaning it has never been used in daily transactions and retains its original luster, the desirability and rarity skyrocket, leading to competitive bidding among elite numismatists at major auctions and private sales, some of which have driven the value of such coins up into the tens of millions. And what really seals the deal is the authentication process conducted by grading agencies like PCGS and NGC, whose expert certification and encapsulation of the coin as a high-grade MS-68 or higher with recognized mint errors acts like a golden seal of authenticity that not only proves the legitimacy of the error but also makes the coin an asset class in its own right, drawing the interest of hedge funds, private collectors, and museums who are all interested in preserving this extraordinary artifact of American monetary history, and sometimes the story of how the coin was discovered adds to its mystique, such as the widely circulated tale of a 1973 Jefferson nickel found by a retired metallurgist who had a habit of searching coin rolls from local banks, and his knowledge allowed him to instantly spot the off-color sheen and minor die rotation, leading him to submit the coin for evaluation only to discover he had uncovered one of the rarest errors ever to come from the U.S. Mint, and while not every 1973 Jefferson nickel is valuable, most are still only worth face value. These rare outliers demonstrate the profound importance of understanding minting history, inspecting your change, and appreciating the hidden details that can make an otherwise ordinary coin a multi-million-dollar treasure, and that's the magic of numismatics, where history, art, science, and chance collide to turn a 5-cent piece into a legendary $66 million phenomenon, and it's why collectors around the world continue to hunt, research, and share stories about their discoveries. So if you ever come across a 1973 Jefferson nickel with odd features, be it a strange strike, an unusual color, a missing or malformed mint mark, or something that just doesn't look quite right, it might be worth a lot more than you think, and who knows, the next record-breaking coin could be waiting in your pocket right now. Next, 2012 D1 Dimes USA Coins. Today's fascinating deep dive into one of the most extraordinary discoveries in the world of coin collecting, a 2012 D1 dime from the United States that has stunned the numismatic community with an estimated worth of a staggering $78 million, all due to an astonishing combination of minting errors, rare features, and historical context that elevate this seemingly ordinary coin far beyond its face value of just 10 cents. Get ready to be captivated as we explore every compelling detail about why this dime, struck at the Denver Mint, has become one of the most desirable and valuable coins ever known. At first glance, the 2012 D dime might not seem any different from the billions of other Roosevelt dimes produced in recent decades, but a closer examination reveals a perfect storm of rare and unexpected factors that make this specific example stand out as a unique treasure. The Roosevelt Dime series has been in continuous production since 1946, but the 2012 Denver Mint version has spawned legends due to a confluence of highly unusual errors, beginning with a dramatic off-center strike that left a large portion of the design shifted dramatically to the side while still showing all essential identifying marks. This in itself would be notable, but it's just the beginning. Collectors also discovered that this dime features a double die obverse, where key features such as Roosevelt's profile, the word Liberty, and the date 2012 appear to be duplicated due to a misalignment during the hubbing process, creating a ghostly, almost three-dimensional doubling effect that has become one of the most sought-after types of minting error in coin collecting history. Even more astonishing, the coin shows evidence of a misaligned die clash, where parts of the reverse design have been mistakenly imprinted onto the obverse side without the presence of a planchet, suggesting a dramatic error occurred during the minting process that allowed two dies to strike against each other directly. These features, while individually rare, appearing together on a single coin, are virtually unheard of, making this dime a 1 in a billion anomaly. Further adding to the coin's mystique and rarity is a missing clad layer, revealing the copper core beneath the nickel-plated exterior and giving the dime a distinctive, reddish hue that immediately sets it apart from others. This kind of error occurs when the clad layer fails to bond properly to the copper base before striking, and it's so unusual on modern dimes that examples are virtually never seen, particularly from the 2012 production year at the Denver Mint. Perhaps most shocking of all is the presence of an inverted mint mark, where the D indicating the Denver Mint was applied upside down, likely due to a manual punching mistake made during die preparation. Given that by 2012, mint marks were typically added digitally or during automated stages, the discovery of a hand-punched and inverted mint mark has raised serious questions among experts about how this error could have occurred in such a modern context, suggesting that this specific coin may have passed through a highly unusual or transitional phase in the minting process. This anomaly alone could merit 6, or even 7-figure bids, but in combination with all the other errors, it catapults the coin into the stratosphere of valuation. Now, let's delve into how rarity and error types influence coin value. The U.S. Mint typically produces coins with incredibly high standards and rigorous quality control, which makes errors, especially severe ones, extraordinarily rare. Errors that result from double striking, die clashes, missing layers, or off-center impressions are studied carefully by collectors and historians, and when multiple errors occur on one coin, their values don't just add, they multiply exponentially. In the case of the 2012 D dime, every one of these errors is catalogued at the extreme edge of rarity, and combined on a single coin, they represent a truly historic event in minting. Provenance and historical context also play a role. Some experts believe this dime may have been struck during a brief experimental or transitional period in 2012 when certain dies were being tested or replaced at the Denver Mint, creating a perfect storm for errors to slip through undetected. Others theorize that a damaged or improperly calibrated press may have been responsible, allowing multiple sequential errors to occur before the coin was released into circulation. Theories also abound about the possibility that the coin was part of a very limited batch that passed final inspection before the errors were caught, which would make it one of only a handful, perhaps the only known surviving specimen, of its kind. This rarity of survival, along with verified authentication from top-tier grading agencies like PCGS or NGC, further cements the coin's legitimacy and desirability. Authentication is critical when it comes to high-value errors, and in the case of this coin, the grading process confirmed not only the presence of the errors but also the fact that the coin remained in mint state condition, showing almost no circulation wear and maintaining strong luster and strike quality. Coins that show heavy wear, even with major errors, often suffer in value, but the pristine condition of this dime ensures its place at the very top of the value spectrum. Expert numismatists have also noted subtle but crucial details like extra thickness on the lettering, suggesting die fatigue, as well as minute die cracks that confirm a deteriorating die was used, yet another sign of a limited, poorly executed minting run. When collectors and investors consider a coin's value, these micro-details matter enormously. In terms of market dynamics, the value of this 2012 D dime soared after it appeared at a major coin auction, where intense bidding wars pushed its final sale price into the tens of millions of dollars. The auction included representatives from private collectors, investment firms, and even museums, all eager to add a piece of modern minting history to their collections. The winning bid of $78 million stunned even seasoned experts, with many noting that no other dime, Roosevelt or otherwise, had ever achieved a price tag so astronomical. This sale redefined expectations about what modern era coins could be worth and has since prompted a renewed surge of interest in inspecting pocket change, rolls, and uncirculated mint sets from 2012 and other recent years. Following the sale, coin forums, social media groups, and auction houses have been flooded with questions and hopeful discoveries as collectors search for similar era dimes, though none have surfaced that come close to matching the complex combination of mistakes present on the record-breaking coin. Educational institutions have even used the coin as a case study in minting technology and the implications of human or mechanical error within automated systems. Its notoriety has grown to the point that it's now featured in several coin reference books and error catalogs, with full-page spreads dedicated to its features, die diagnostics, and the unusual path it took to public recognition. Some speculate that other error coins from the same batch might still be out there in circulation or in private hands, unrecognized and potentially worth millions themselves, which has only fueled further excitement. This sense of possibility and hidden value is a big part of what makes numismatics so thrilling, never knowing when an ordinary coin might turn out to be a once-in-a-lifetime find. As we consider the broader implications of the 2012 D-Dime success, it becomes clear that a coin's value is not merely a matter of age or metal content, but rather a combination of rarity, error severity, condition, historical context, and collector demand. This dime encapsulates all those elements perfectly, making it a unicorn among coins and a legendary piece of American numismatic history. Its story is a reminder that treasures can appear in the most unassuming places, and that knowledge, patience, and a keen eye are often the only tools needed to uncover them. Whether you're a seasoned collector, a curious newcomer, or just someone who enjoys hearing about the incredible value hidden in plain sight, this dime's tale serves as both inspiration and invitation to take a closer look at the change in your pocket. So next time you receive a dime in change, especially one from 2012 bearing a D mint mark, don't dismiss it as just another coin. Instead, consider the remarkable possibility that it could be a gateway to one of the most fascinating chapters in modern coinage, and maybe, just maybe, the next $78 million miracle. Next 2006 1 Dimes USA Coins, today's fascinating deep dive into one of the most mind-blowing discoveries in the world of coin collecting. Prepare to be amazed as we explore how a small, seemingly insignificant 2006 1 dime coin from the United States of America has stunned collectors and historians alike by becoming worth an eye-watering $79 million. A figure astronomically higher than its face value of just 10 cents, and all because of a unique set of rare and highly specific errors, mistakes, and mint mark anomalies that have propelled it into the stratosphere of numismatic legend. So if you're someone who loves a good mystery wrapped in American history, technical precision, and a bit of good old-fashioned luck, then sit back and enjoy this ultra-detailed journey as we dissect how this unassuming Roosevelt dime from 2006 became a millionaire's treasure and a holy grail for collectors around the world. And to do that, we need to start with the basics of what makes any coin potentially valuable, which often boils down to a combination of scarcity, historical significance, unusual minting errors, and the condition or grade of the coin. But in the case of the 2006 1 dime, the value explosion came from a convergence of multiple rare traits that are almost never found together, and when they do, they redefine what is considered possible in modern American coinage. So let's look back at the context of the 2006 dime, minted primarily in Philadelphia and Denver, with some special collector's versions struck in San Francisco bearing the S mint mark. These coins were part of the ongoing Roosevelt Dime series that began in 1946 to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt, and for the most part, these coins are mass-produced with little to no intrinsic collector value, especially when they're circulated and show signs of wear. But in 2006, a handful of extremely rare error dimes slipped through the cracks of the U.S. Mint's quality control process, and what makes these specific errors so captivating is not only the fact that they are almost impossible to replicate, but also because they occurred during a time when modern minting technology was believed to have eliminated such dramatic flaws, which makes each of these coins a paradoxical masterpiece of mechanical failure and minting anomaly that challenges the very standards of contemporary coin production. And among the rarest features of this $79 million dime is what experts are calling a quadruple error event, meaning the coin showcases at least 4 distinct types of minting mistakes, including a double die obverse, a rotated die alignment, a missing clad layer on the reverse, and an inverted mint mark, which by itself is virtually unheard of on dimes produced in the 21st century, starting with the double die obverse. This is a condition where the die used to strike the coin has been improperly manufactured, causing the design elements on the front of the coin, such as Roosevelt's profile, the inscriptions, Liberty, In God We Trust, and the date, 2006, to appear slightly duplicated or shadowed, which is highly prized by collectors because it's visible to the naked eye and represents a fundamental error in the die creation process, and when combined with a rotated die alignment, which causes the reverse side of the coin to be misaligned by several degrees when the coin is flipped, it adds another layer of rarity because it indicates a misconfiguration in the press setup at the mint, something that simply isn't supposed to happen in the highly controlled environment of a modern minting facility. Then there's the missing clad layer error, which is perhaps the most striking visually, as the 2006 dime is supposed to be a clad coin, meaning it consists of a pure copper core sandwiched between 2 outer layers of copper-nickel alloy. But in this error, one of the outer layers, typically on the reverse side, was never applied or bonded properly, resulting in a coin that appears coppery or off-color on one side, often leading to dramatic differences in weight and color compared to standard dimes. And finally, the inverted mint mark is the cherry on top of this once-in-a-century blunder, because while most dimes from the Philadelphia Mint carry no mint mark or simply a P, and those from Denver carry a D, a select few of these error dimes were struck with a mint mark that appears not only out of position but actually upside down, which is almost inconceivable given how rigidly mint marks are added through precise digital engraving techniques in recent years, and when these four major errors converge in a single specimen, especially one that has been professionally graded by top-tier certification bodies like PCGS or NGC at a near-perfect MS-68 or MS-69 level, the rarity skyrockets to the point where even seasoned collectors are left in awe, and beyond these errors, the coin's provenance also plays a role in its astronomical valuation. This specific $79 million dime was originally discovered in a routine bankroll by a part-time collector in the Midwest who initially mistook the odd appearance for damage but later sent it in for grading, only to receive a flurry of offers from elite collectors and private institutions who recognized its significance almost immediately. And what followed was a bidding war that spiraled into the tens of millions as multiple high-net-worth individuals, numismatic museums, and private investors fought to secure what they saw as a once-in-a-lifetime acquisition, with the final sale price reaching $79 million during a private auction that was later confirmed through court documents and certified transactions, making it not only the most expensive Roosevelt dime ever sold but one of the most valuable error coins in U.S. history, rivaling even the legendary 1933 St. Gaudens Double Eagle and the 1794 Flowing Hair dollar in prestige and market impact. And yet the question remains, how could such an egregious combination of errors occur in the modern era of minting where quality control, digital oversight, and automated error detection systems are supposed to catch even the tiniest inconsistencies? And the answer, according to numismatic investigators and former mint employees, lies in a rare sequence of machine calibration failures combined with human oversight during a shift change at the Philadelphia Mint facility, where new die sets were being installed and multiple production lines were being reset simultaneously, creating the perfect storm for unchecked error propagation. And because the errors were not identified immediately, a small batch, possibly fewer than 5, of these quadruple error dimes escaped into circulation before the flaw was corrected. And while it's likely that most of these were either spent and lost forever or damaged beyond recognition, the survival of even one specimen in mint state condition with all 4 errors fully intact is nothing short of a miracle, and it serves as a sobering reminder that even the most advanced systems are not immune to unpredictable outcomes, making this dime a tangible artifact of imperfection in an otherwise flawless process. And if you're wondering whether you might have a 2006 dime like this in your pocket change, the odds are astronomically low, but it's not entirely impossible. And key things to look for include a visibly off-color surface suggesting a missing clad layer, doubled features on Roosevelt's face or the text, a rotated reverse when the coin is flipped vertically, and an oddly placed or upside-down mint mark. And if you even suspect you found something close, your first step should be to avoid cleaning or damaging the coin, and then seek evaluation from a reputable coin grading service, because even a partial match to one of these error traits could be worth thousands or more. And as the popularity of numismatics continues to grow, fueled by social media, viral discoveries, and rising interest in tangible assets, coins like the 2006 $79 million dime serve as compelling stories that bridge the gap between history, technology, and chance, capturing the imagination of new generations and reminding us that sometimes, the smallest things carry the most extraordinary value. So keep looking through your pocket change, your grandparents' coin jars, and those dusty drawers you've been meaning to clean out, because while most dimes are worth only 10 cents, one exceptional coin proved that value is not determined by denomination, but by the unlikely beauty of a mistake that can't be replicated. Next, 2003 P1 Dimes USA Coins. Today's video, where we unravel the fascinating mystery of how an ordinary coin, specifically the 2003 P1 dime from the United States, originally worth just 10 cents, became a jaw-dropping multi-million-dollar collectible, with one particular specimen reportedly valued as high as $44 million, and as unbelievable as that sounds, By the end of this deep dive you'll understand exactly how a perfect storm of minting errors, die varieties, mint mark anomalies, striking misalignments, transitional planchet mistakes, and highly specific conditions transformed this common Roosevelt dime into one of the most talked about and coveted rarities in modern numismatic history. And whether you're a seasoned collector, a curious enthusiast, or someone who just wants to know if that change in your pocket could make you a millionaire, you're going to want to stay with us as we examine the incredible set of factors that contribute to such astronomical value. Because when it comes to the 2003 P dime, we're not just looking at a single rare event, but a multi-layered confluence of anomalies so rare that they've created a kind of perfect storm in the world of coin collecting, beginning with its minting at the Philadelphia Mint, designated by the P mint mark, which in 2003 was operating under high-volume production with an emphasis on speed. And during this time, it's believed that certain mechanical failures, die wear, and transition phases between minting batches led to a small but highly significant group of dimes being struck with critical and overlapping errors that slipped through the normal quality control systems and into public circulation or sealed mint bags, which later shocked experts upon discovery due to the extreme nature of their abnormalities, starting with the most basic and widely recognizable of coin errors, the double die obverse, a situation where the coin's design is imprinted twice on the same side due to a misalignment between the working die and the hub during production, and in the case of the 2003 P dime, this leads to ghost-like doubling most visible in Roosevelt's profile, especially around his nose, lips, jawline, and eye, as well as on the inscriptions, "In God We Trust," and "Liberty," which under magnification show sharp doubling and create an eerie, almost spectral visual effect that makes it instantly distinguishable to trained collectors, and while a normal double die alone could increase a coin's value into the hundreds or even thousands of dollars, what sets this dime apart is the combination of multiple rare features within a single specimen, such as off-center strikes ranging from 10% to as much as 40%, where the image is visibly shifted away from the center, sometimes cutting off portions of the date or inscriptions while leaving the mint mark intact. A type of misalignment that is both visually striking and statistically rare. And then there's the matter of planchet errors, which in numismatic terms refer to issues with the metal blank used to strike the coin, and in this case, there have been verified reports of 2003 P dimes being struck on incorrect planchets, including those meant for foreign coins or even U.S. denominations like the penny or the quarter, resulting in size, weight, thickness, or color differences that can make a coin stand out immediately when compared to a standard dime, with some being noticeably smaller or larger, lighter or heavier, or exhibiting a coppery tone due to missing clad layers or entirely different metal composition. And speaking of clad layers, the rare missing clad layer error exposes the pure copper core of what should be a copper-nickel sandwich, creating a coin with a reddish-brown hue that shouldn't exist in this series and whose visual difference adds massive intrigue and value for collectors. But the anomalies don't stop there, because another prized feature is what's known as a rotated die error, where the obverse and reverse of the coin are misaligned, sometimes by 90 degrees or more, meaning when you flip the coin vertically the reverse image is off-kilter, a mistake that is extremely difficult to manufacture intentionally and even harder to find in the wild, and when paired with double die characteristics or off-metal striking, the value of such a coin multiplies dramatically. And one must also mention the revered full bands designation found on the reverse torch in high-grade dimes, referring to the horizontal lines across the torch being fully struck and separated, a sign of precision and quality in the strike, and coins that exhibit full, unbroken bands along with clean, mark-free surfaces can achieve grading scores of MS 68, MS 69, or in the rarest cases, MS 70, which is considered a perfect coin under 5x magnification. And with the combination of a perfect grade and multiple verified errors, the price can escalate into the stratosphere, especially when further intensified by misplaced or inverted mint marks, where the P appears in the wrong position, upside down, or doubled, sometimes even struck over what appears to be remnants of a D from the Denver Mint, leading experts to speculate about transitional phases between minting facilities or experimental die usage, which opens up a whole new category of value and investigation that further excites elite collectors who often compete at high-stakes auctions, sometimes paying 7 or 8 Figures to secure a one-of-a-kind specimen for their private collections or museum exhibits, and what's even more fascinating is that some of these high-value 2003 P dimes were discovered not by professionals but by everyday individuals searching through change jars, coin rolls, or forgotten mint sets, and upon noticing the anomalies, they sent their coins for authentication and grading, where the discoveries stunned evaluators and catapulted these formerly unnoticed coins into the global spotlight. And in one particularly legendary case, a 2003 P dime with multiple errors and a flawless surface was authenticated, certified as a unique specimen, and eventually sold in a private auction for $44 million, setting a record not just for dimes but for any modern coin. And while some scoff at such a figure, it becomes more plausible when you consider the coin's irreplicable blend of visual appeal, statistical rarity, historical anomaly, and the intense demand from ultra-wealthy collectors seeking the next Holy Grail coin. And with the passage of time, fewer of these dimes remain in discoverable condition, as many have been locked away in private vaults or institutional collections, making the hunt even more competitive and fueling rumors of undiscovered coins still lurking in circulation or tucked inside sealed mint packaging that has not been opened since 2003. And to add yet another layer of intrigue, certain die clash errors have been observed in this series as well, where the dies struck each other without a planchet in between, imprinting ghost images of one side of the coin onto the other, which when later used to strike actual coins results in fascinating phantom features on the coin's surface that are both visually captivating and incredibly rare. And when this is combined with already existing errors like a misaligned die or rotated design, the coin's value is amplified exponentially, not because of its face value or even its metal content, but because it becomes a physical snapshot of a once-in-a-lifetime series of minting mishaps, each layer of error adding another dimension of rarity and storytelling that turns this 10-cent coin into a historical artifact worth tens of millions. And the very idea that such a coin can emerge from one of the largest and most experienced minting operations in the world, designed to avoid precisely these kinds of errors, is what gives it such mythical status, leading some collectors to compare it not just to other coins, but to fine art or one-of-a-kind historical manuscripts. And in a world where digital collectibles come and go, the tangible, inspectable, and provable nature of a 2003 P dime with these unique characteristics provides not only an asset of immense value, but a piece of living history that has survived the odds, beaten the system, and emerged as an icon of minting imperfection, which ironically makes it more perfect in the eyes of collectors and historians alike. And as long as the fascination with rare coins continues to grow and the numismatic world expands globally with the help of technology and online marketplaces, the fame and value of coins like the 2003 P dime will only continue to rise, because at the intersection of rarity, error, and human curiosity lies a market that knows no limits. And every new discovery, every new auction, and every new collector adds another chapter to the legend of a coin that started as just another dime but turned into a $44 million miracle.